Hi, this is Alex from Groovy Entertainment. Today we got another chapter to read for you from the Fantastic Four, The House of Horror. This is chapter 3, The Parlor of Pythons from 1968. So let's get started. Even as Johnny began pounding on the door of the den, trying to attract attention, Reed found himself at the end of the corridor he had been investigating. Reed heard the pounding sounds, but only faintly. He was of two minds. Should he turn back and the and seek the source of the pounding, or should he search the one room left alone, his quarters? The remaining room looked innocent enough. It was a parlor, furnished in an old-fashioned manner. There was a bared curtain, a, a bean curtain, across the doorway. The sofa and chairs had pump feathers, had pump feather pillows, and hand carved wooden arms and legs, and the lampshade was of hand painted grass. Reed parted the bearded curtains and peered into the room. There was no sign of anyone inside, so instead of investigating the room further, he decided to try to find out where the pounding was coming from. But just as Reed started to go, he caught sight of a movement in the room. He was not sure exactly what had caught his eyes. So moving past the beaded curtains, he entered the room to try to find out. The instant Reed stepped into the room, he heard a rattling sound. Behind him, he whipped around and stared, flabbergasted at what he saw. The beaded curtain had become a mass of huge, withered serpents, and their deadly core blocking his soul escape route. Dr. Weird, Reed shouted. At last we meet, and it will be the last of you, Reed Richter, a voice replied. I have heard of snakes in the grass, but this is something new. Pythons in the parlor, Reed said. This is your funeral parlor, Reed Richter, the voice hissed. Your doom is at hand. The pythons began crawling down from the doorway and creeping toward Reed, surrounding him. Reed stretched his arms overhead, got hold of the chandelier, and snapped himself upward, but a python had wrapped itself around his ankle. Quickly, Reed tied his legs into a knot. He squeezed the python. A final whimpering hiss, then went limp. When Reed untied the knot, the serpent dropped to the floor. 1, 2, and 99 to go, Dr. Weird voice taunted. That's just about even, Reed replied. Here I come. He released his hold on the chandelier and dropped into the middle of the hissing snakes. In in an instant, they were crawling all over him, trying to squeeze the life from him. But each time a snake screamed, Reed rubbery limb lengthened, stretched thin and slippery. No, free and slip free of the snake grasp. The python, unable to match Reed's power, could only wither in anger. Reed began tying knots in himself, and each knot tighter on a snake, one by one. Then, by 5 and 10, the snakes dropped away. Are you keeping score? Reed mocked. It's only 10-1 now. Hold still, you rubbery rascal, Dr. Weird complained. Just let me. Get one good grab on you. But Reed had no intention of giving the snakes the opportunity to put the squeeze on him. He tied himself into a knot after knot, and in a matter of seconds, 9 more serpents dropped away, retained harmless. But the last snake, the largest and most slippery, proved harder to subdue. Moving with incredible speed, it wrapped itself. Wait, it it wind in and out in a round, silent, free of every knot that retied. So you are Doctor Weird, and I only imagine those other snakes. Reed said. No wonder the other was so easy to overcome. You're right for what good it is. Will do you, the python replied. I merely wished you to exert yourself. This is your end. Then realizing that he was indeed as tired as grinning serpent had said, Reed knew what the worst was yet to come. Once more, Reed and the python resumed to battle the reptile. Skirming in and out, and Reed followed it with an arm, then legs, then other arms, then the other legs, trying to trap it in a knot. Then finally succeed as the python slid out of the knot that Reed had tied in his left leg. He caught it by the tail with a knot in his right arm. Quickly, Reed applied temperate pressure. The snake turned pale and began grasping for breath. Any last word, Reed asked. Only hissed. Only hissed the python replied, but only his last hair. Only a hiss. The python replied, but not my last. Hear this, Reed Richter. We will meet again, and then to Reed complete amusement, the python suddenly became a liquid stream and flowed free of the knot and out the door. The parlor was the same as it had been before, except that now There were no bead curtains in the doorway. Dr. Weird must have gone after the other, Reed said to himself. I better hurry and help them, but he discovered that at the moment that he would not be possible for in fighting the python. He had tired himself in so many knots and wounded himself in and out and around and about himself so many different ways that he had become as tangled as a bow of spaghetti. It would be hours and seeing before he could determine where he began and where he ended. So that was chapter 3, The Parlor of Pythons for 1968. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. And we'll have another video coming out real soon.